0632 hours. Inside the USS Gerald R. Ford's battle data room, every station is shining with exact composure. Staff track 4 red symbols zigzagging through the atmosphere above the blue shape of the battle team. The Ford's tower remains quiet. No shouting, no disorder, just managed attention. Signals now within 12 miles, a detection specialist announces. Pace maintaining high subsonic. Acknowledged, the strategy action leader responds. CIWS to prepared readiness. CWIS manual setting. Above the surface, crew look upward. They can't view the planes distinctly, but they can sense the strain. Every shake through the surface panels, every encoded transmission over the vessel's communications. The Ford remains stable at 20 knots north-northwest. The destroyers Thomas Hudner and Mason compact their guard, creating a metal barrier in front of the vessel. Electronic battle systems are operating, softly disrupting foe sensors just sufficient to confuse any aiming detection. On the flight surface, the air team remains active. Fuel lines connect, surface workers signal with hands, and the takeoff teams remain prepared for another launch if required. No one loses calm. The Venezuelan primary plane flips upside down at barely 1,000 feet and plunges directly toward the vessel group. The second trails closely, slashing through the atmosphere like a sword. From the Ford's tower, it appears careless, a scare tactic gone excessively far. Tower battle signals now within 5 miles, height falling rapidly. Beneath, the Phalanx CIWS turret pivots automatically. Its 20mm cannon is following the primary plane. The setup sensors spot motion faster than any human vision can flash. The only element preventing it from shooting is a quiet order: readiness. In the atmosphere, Viper 1 and Viper 2 fix their headgear toward the Venezuelans, cameras capturing all through the glass. The US aviator can view the other individual's face, visor shining, mouth firm, hands shaking on the controls. Ford command, they're approaching fast, spacing 1.2 miles. Acknowledged, maintain your position, do not intensify. The first K-8 thunders over the destroyer Mason's front, motors howling, trail disturbance rolling off its flaps. The impact wave strikes the waves like storm, shaking the vessel. Then, with no room, it sweeps over Viper 2, less than 600 feet separating them. Ford control, we have hazardous action, Viper 2 calls. That's a close call, keep composure, the reply arrives back, steady and exact. The Hornets do not respond. No detection fixes, no opposing actions. They merely glide behind the Venezuelans, trailing them like shadows. On the Ford, the CIWS rotates silently, its sensors fixed but mute. The whole battle team holds its air. For 10 seconds, both parties suspend in that improbable equilibrium, one incorrect action away from disaster. Then, almost unexcitingly, the K-8s ascend and turn away, motors diminishing toward the southern skyline. The ocean becomes silent once more, but no one unwinds yet. Then he notices something on his detection display. A slight jump in outputs. One Venezuelan plane just scanned the vessel group with an aiming detection. Short, but intentional. Ford, note, we were scanned. Acknowledged. Record the signal. No action needed. The Ford doesn't reply. No dodging maneuver, no decoys, just info gathering and restraint. Minutes afterward, the Venezuelans disappear from detection completely. The Ford keeps path velocity 20 knots, direction north-northwest. But the tale isn't concluded, because merely an hour afterward, Venezuelan government TV broadcasts blurry recordings of the same planes, asserting they compelled the American vessel to withdraw. The Globe views misinformation. The naval force views a separate reality. The Ford never shifted a bit. And somewhere in that serene, restrained quiet rests the true strength of a vessel battle team. By noon, the event was already resonating through global reports. Venezuelan authorities praised it as a national skywatch, while Washington labeled it risky and amateur. The reality rested somewhere amid in that narrow boundary between defense and incitement. Inside the Pentagon's early meeting, experts replayed the thermal recordings moment by moment. Every action, every signal transmission, every instant of that 600-foot sweep was recorded. What they observed wasn't a planned assault. It was a display of might gone awry. A governmental statement composed in thrusters and height alerts. For sea tacticians, this wasn't novel. These sorts of meetings, ambiguous area strategies, are crafted to probe responses, to gauge just how near you can soar before a global force wavers. And the Ford didn't waver. The vessel's moderation conveyed a separate type of statement, not one of dread, but of command. Anyone can activate the weapon. Restraint is tougher. That's what prevents minor incitements from evolving into worldwide events. The Ford embodies the forefront of sea strength. Electric launch systems, concealed detection shapes, and a leadership system that can connect every detector across the armada. Yet, her key asset isn't machinery, it's discernment. Out there, situations can shift from peaceful to turmoil in simple moments. One incorrect action, one arrogant aviator, and the globe's most sophisticated battleship abruptly finds itself one pulse away from worldwide emergency. The Venezuelan planes aimed to deliver a statement. The USS Gerald R. Ford replied with quiet. The sort of quiet only a genuine strength can provide. Because the fact is, strength on the ocean isn't solely about rockets or combat planes. It's about discernment, moment, and restraint. And the Ford demonstrated all three. Quote, "Discipline is harder than pulling the trigger." So, here's a query for you folks. If you were in that control area, seeing two overseas planes plunging toward your vessel at maximum pace, what would you do? Would you stay your position and rely on the engagement guidelines? Or would you fire the initial round just to be secure? Leave your response in the comments under. I want to view how you'd manage that situation. And if you reached this point, thanks for viewing. Press like if you discovered something fresh. Subscribe if you desire to view additional.